Hey guys, my name is Karina Lane. I'm your host here tonight at the University Rebel. I'm here with David Leach. He's going to be talking about his journeys in being a videographer and how he films for companies around the Danbury, greater Danbury area, and how he got started in his business from being a regular college student to now having his own successful video business. So we're going to get into that. And David, slightly introduce yourself and just tell the audience how you really got into filmmaking.
How I really got into filmmaking was when I was like in 8th grade. I just saw a movie like Jumper, and I wanted to that scene where he teleports around. I wanted that, so I went online and I actually pirated a copy of Adobe After Effects. This is in 8th grade. It took all night to download because I had freaking AOL internet. And then at 5 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, went out on my front lawn with my parents' handy cam, and just recorded me jumping around the lawn, looking like a complete idiot. Right. And then I edited that together, and that was that. Didn't really think much of it at the time because I had my first computer when I was 3, and so I'd always thought I was going to go into a computer science kind of arc. But then later on, I ended up meeting a teacher in high school who kind of pushed me in the direction of video. Was like, hey, you seem like you're liking this a lot, you're having a lot of fun, you're good at it. I have a client, I have a business actually that called the high school and was like, oh, can I get
client?
Somebody
to film for the business.
Exactly.
Right.
A business person had called him and was like, hey, do you know anyone who could do this? And he recommended me as a student. So that's kind of how I got started, and that was my first ever actual project, paying project. Right. Just a referral from a teacher.
Right. And that started to spark, obviously, a fire in you and kind of build a reputation before you got seriously in it. Mm-hmm. So one thing that you spoke about and that you had mentioned is that you actually dropped out of college for a semester to pursue, your passion in video work. So talk to the audience about why you chose to kind of drop out of college and just go for your dreams instead of going the typical class route.
I first started in college as a computer science major, and then at that point, about a semester in, that just wasn't working out very well. I wasn't really enjoying myself in the computer science classes, and so at that time, I'd already had I had actually Noteworthy Chocolates. They asked me to do their commercial video, and that was one of my first big commercial actually paid works. And from that Kickstarter video that I made for them, they ended up raising $29,000, and so that was kind of what pushed me over the edge. Is no, okay, I can actually do this for real, and my videos can have an impact and be successful. Right. So that was where I first got started. And
I mean, that's great because it's by what you're telling is the audience and I is that you kind of tested your passion and you kind of somebody saw a need for it, and then you just saw it blow up with the Kickstarter that you made something worth $29,000, someone's business. So I mean, I can most definitely see why you or somebody of your passion was continue to go down that path. So after your college education, did any of your education at Western, at the college of your choice, did it really aid to your profession in videography at all? Did you pick anything up at Western, or did you just say, just because of the video, I'm just gonna go and do it?
Actually, it was actually the opposite of WestConn actually helping me, because when I was first doing that Kickstarter video, I went to WestConn's video production department and was like, hey, can I borrow some lighting equipment? Can I borrow a camera? Because I didn't have any money for equipment at that time. So, and they actually said no, you're not in the film department. We can't lend you this equipment. It's for film majors only. And so I actually got turned down there and had to go through a friend. So actually, WestConn didn't actually help me. Ken College didn't help me from where I wanted to go.
Right. So it didn't help your passion. I mean, that's surprising because as students or even as taxpayers, we kind of pay for these services, and I can understand, but that's a different story.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a different story.
Yeah, I was really upset by that. Really frustrated me that I was paying for the college.
You're
I was paying
for
the
tuition, and you got denied for an opportunity to actually do you.
Exactly. Right. That was it.
Right. Okay. So your business. Now, let's slightly talk about your business and how you how have you molded your business? How has it worked for you? How did you make it so successful that you're telling me you had a $29,000 Kickstarter? You've done other projects where you gotten, paid nicely off of it. How did you develop so successfully from that?
I just want to clarify really quick that I didn't make $29,000.
Well, not you, but your project raised $29,000 off of it. So obviously you got a chunk of whatever was made from that project. So like you told me that you were very successful with it. So how did you get to that point where you're successful with what you do?
Just a lot of like self-taught and learning. Like before I had a camera or anything, like I was using my iPhone and like going on iMovie and just like editing little videos together, and also going on like lynda.com and looking up like tutorials. Again, that teacher that I told you that like gave me that first referral, he actually put me in like an internship program for a video. Where I had to make a short documentary about a program that the school was running, Connecticut Pre-Engineering Program.
Right.
So that summer at the end of high school is where I like learned really most of like what I know like about video. Just like he kind of threw me in there and was like, "Yeah, I know you don't know anything. You're gonna figure it out. Like just make a documentary." And so I had to learn everything pretty much.
Right. Wow. So your profession is self-taught. You pretty much,
yeah.
I mean, you just took a skill, you took a project, taught yourself, through the works, and then you became really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one thing that you did speak about also is that you wanted to get back into college, but not necessarily for the educational purpose of it. You want to go to NYU to network and mesh with other people of your profession. And live in that city lifestyle where you get to really have hands-on projects. Explain why you decided to go back, officially.
I'm looking at going back because I ended up making a few connections at NYU, like meaning the film students there.
Right.
And they invited me on some of their projects. And so like going on their projects and seeing that like they are making, like 3, 4, 5, like actually they're working on up to 20 films like per semester, like their films, their friends' films. So it's a very like hands-on kind of program. I'm like very drawn to that.
Right.
Not so much as like the sitting in a classroom, like learning it part.
Right.
Like I think in this kind of profession, and a lot of professions, like you learn by going hands-on and solving those problems like in the field.
Right. And the hard part about sometimes college and university is that you have to sit and put in rigorous work for like 3, sometimes even 4 years before you really get that hands-on touch of what that profession really has in store for you. And sometimes students, they work their way all the way up to that point and they're like, I don't even want to do this.
Exactly. That's
I don't even want, this is not what I thought it was because they didn't get that opportunity to put their hands in. So I'm glad that you got that opportunity to see just from doing it, building yourself up and then marketing and networking with other videographers that you were able to most definitely find, man, this is something that I want to do and I'm actually good at it. That's the even better part. So, the market. Let's talk about the market in film. Market in film and video. How is the market in film and video, especially for the years to come? How do you see that evolving?
So Facebook recently, like this is the first thing that pops in my mind. Like Facebook has like started poisoning themselves with all their live feed, their live video. I don't know if you've seen that big push.
Right.
They've been making huge investments into video because like within the next like 5 years, video will be like the biggest portion like of the internet. Like people are streaming video constantly. Like there's a constant demand for like moving picture with sound. Like that's as close as we can get right now to real life. And people like just want that. There's a huge like amount of information that you can convey with a moving picture and audio.
Right.
So brands, companies are moving towards that for like their marketing. That's where it's all going. Just being able to tell a story. Because at the end of the day, it's all about connecting like as a human, as an individual.
Right.
So if you can do that like with moving picture and sound, like you've made like a much more impactful message than like text or just a photo put on their own.
So pretty much, film work, you're gonna be in between the business and the customer. And your job is to bring like a real life element to the customer to obviously then communicate with the business to make the sale. Like that's one of the many routes that you can go in your work. And explain to the camera really quick, or the the audience, what is the actual type of film work you do? Because there's a multitude of film work. You can shoot a movie, You can, make a YouTube video.
Mhm.
I mean, what is your niche? Like, where do you really reside at?
My niche is in the commercial video like production. So making videos for small businesses that are directly like B2C. So business is talking to the customer.
Right.
So like a project that I recently had was one where like a client had, like it was a gym, had recently like come up with a new like Ninja Warrior class.
Okay.
And so I had to I made a video that just kind of like went in the class, like showed what it was like from like the kids' perspective, and like showed the parents what they were getting out of going to this class. Because like the class hadn't existed before, and how are you gonna know like what it looks like? You just can't.
Right.
You just can't get the same information as you like from a wall of text as you can from just like seeing it first.
And even a picture. You
Yeah.
see somebody like that in a picture, you're just like, what? Like, you still can't map out exactly what you're going to be investing your time and energy in. And that's where video comes into play. I mean, video gives people that, like, oh, wow, that's really what happens? Or that's what the food really looks like? Or that's what that's the great part.
Exactly.
So one of my biggest focuses in, my wrap-ups is, like, what do you advise to children, to young people, even to older people who want to get into the film industry or even just photography? Where, how do they get in? How do you compete with the top dogs? How do you really make your mark in the industry? Where do you start? Like, what is your advice to those kids?
I think you honestly just have to start like with what you have. Like each of us like has in our pockets like a smartphone that is like totally capable, in some cases even taking like 4K video, and you can edit on it like the way you actually make this YouTube video. It's edited on a smartphone. If you guys like didn't know that, like you edit. What do you use? Like
I actually use Photo Director, the app, but I use my cell phone a lot of times to actually record, and it's just because that's just what I had. You just got to make do with it.
That's it. So you're a perfect example of just like, don't wait for something to like, oh, I can't get started until I have X or Y or Z. Like, just start with whatever you have. Like, if you are just starting, like, that is the biggest thing. It's just you want to find a proof of concept. So, like, I didn't start a video production business until...
Right.
So, at that point, to summarize really quick, is just, like, for people who want to get into the industry, like, just try it, like, as best as you can with whatever you can. And like go through the process. Like you don't need to go through like 4 years of college to like then get into the field and experience something. Start experiencing it now, like with whatever means necessary.
Right.
So that is my advice. Just start now.
Right. And I mean that's actually some really good advice, because I think entrepreneurship and just being successful in whatever field you want to get into, it's not about waiting for society to say go. It's about you doing what you feel is necessary before you go. It should be all kids do, internships, then decide what path of life they go on. So, I mean, most definitely, thank you for that. And hopefully somebody out there most definitely got something out of what you just said. Make sure that you follow David. He has his social media accounts, and that, you never know. Somebody's watching this video, be like, I actually want David's work. So thank you guys for staying tuned. David, you want to say thank you real quick?
Thank you guys, for tuning in, checking out Karina. She is the one who put this all together, so huge thanks to her for making this possible. Right,
and this beautiful film work that we got going on is actually David's work. So make sure you guys follow the Instagram page, and that you guys are on the YouTube page for the University Rebel. And make sure you guys follow David's work. I'll put a link in the bio. I'll put a link in the video. And we'll go from there, guys. All right. Have a good night. Thank you so much. All right. Bye.